What's going on, guys? So last night I was able to check out Obsession, the latest horror film that's been taking the world by storm. If you guys didn't know, this was another YouTuber, I can't think of his name, that directed this movie, his directorial feature film debut, and it's actually been doing really well with Gen Z audiences. It's actually one of the rare films that's been making more money, and I believe it's now like the third weekend that it's been out. So naturally, I had to go check this movie out, and I definitely see where the hype is. I think it's borderline a masterpiece, but I also probably wouldn't watch this movie again unless like I just want to show it to somebody who hadn't seen it before just to see their reaction to certain scenes. It's definitely a very hard watch. There's some pretty grisly imagery in this, and I'm pretty squeamish to real life things. We'll just leave it at that. But when it comes to movies and shows, I understand it's prosthetics, makeup, and such, so that stuff doesn't bother me. But there is stuff in this movie, and it's not even that it's gory. It's just so unnerving and just so really just eerily disturbing that it just kind of makes my skin crawl in not a very good way. But that said, this is a fantastic film. It has some really deep themes about toxic relationships and about kind of like, how far you would go for love, and can you really even force somebody else to love you? And if somebody else is loving you because they're forced to love you or feel like they're forced to love you, whatever, is that really love to begin with? And this movie touches on all of those themes, and I think it does a really fantastic job with all of that. The two leads in this movie, Michael Johnston, who plays Bear, the guy, and Indy Neverett, who was in Superman and Lois. It took me the whole movie to figure out where I'd seen her in, but that was it when I looked it up. She plays Nikki, the girl, and just to give you a rundown of the basic plot, basically, Bear, he wants this girl Nikki to fall in love with him. So there's like this wishing willow, I think it's called, and he breaks it, wishes that she would fall in love with him, which she does, but then some sinister things start to come into play, and you can basically tell that, hey, this doesn't seem like it's actually Nikki. She's doing things, saying things, acting a certain way, really getting hostile if he's not around her all the time. And I just love the way that all of that plays out. I think it ends pretty satisfyingly. I don't want to give away any spoilers because I do think the less you kind of know about the stuff that goes on, the better. And, overall, I think the pacing was really great. I really kept me invested in this. I think the central mystery kind of reminded me of like Speak No Evil or Get Out, these other films where it definitely, there's kind of like a central mystery, but there's also kind of a supernatural-ish element to it as well. So overall, I highly recommend this. I would definitely watch Backrooms more, but I do think as a film, Obsession might be the better film. I will give it an 8.5 out of 10, and I highly recommend it for horror fans or those who just want to support indie cinema.